How the hell do these episodes keep on getting shorter? For like the fourth time in a row, this episode is shorter than the previous, and the first of those episodes was already short. The finale will be longer. Wait, whoa, let me change the script here, because after I wrote the script, I saw what James Gunn posted, which is that the finale won't just be longer, it'll be way longer, 57 minutes. He says over 57 minutes, but I'm gonna assume that means between 57 to 58 minutes, so like 57 and a half minutes, like half of a movie, and double the length of this episode almost. So, you know what? Never mind, that might just make up for it. This episode is pretty wild though, so let's get into it. This will be my breakdown and review for Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 7, titled Like a Keith in the Night. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and become a member in the Noble tier or above for early access to videos, and in the King tier for a special shout out. Thanks to these members for the extra support. James Gunn has previously said that we'll learn a lot about Earth X in this episode, and while we did learn a bit, man, I thought we'd learn a lot more than we did. There's not much to go over in the everything we learned about the DCU segment. In regards to Earth X, we learned that the Nazis did indeed win World War II. I've seen people theorizing that maybe this will be a different version of Earth X, where it's not that the Nazis won World War II, but America was taken over by Nazi ideology regardless. Nope, it's the actual Earth X. The one got out comment is in regards to internment camps, and I don't think it's going to be relevant to the plot or show up. Fitzgibbon exists and is a cop in this world, and the top trio, or at least Blue Dragon, was not actually a Nazi. Sidney Happerson returns from his role in Superman, becoming a recurring character in the DCU. They bring back the Luthor Corps set as well, and that's about it. Maybe the least informative episode of the season, but there is a lot to talk about in regards to the review. Like I already mentioned, this episode was somehow even shorter, which is wild to me. This episode was only 32 minutes, which is a solid 7 minutes shorter than the shortest episode of season 1. It's just a bit wild to me that with a gap of 3 years between seasons, the series comes back with significantly less screen time. Now the finale will definitely help. I wrote all this before I knew how long the finale was going to be, but even with the finale, the first season was 364 minutes. This season will end up being 332 minutes. That's 32 less minutes, which is the entire length of this very episode. So this episode, like the last episode, did not have an opening flashback, but also it's the only episode in the season because it seems like the next episode will have one that doesn't have a cold open at all. It's more of a hot open, jumping right into the plot. The scene was really funny, with Hardcore pointing out all the obvious things that Chris missed because he's just really unobservant. The Hitler mural really got a laugh out of me. Peacemaker and Hardcore getting out of Argus was also really great. I loved how they used the jetpack to get out of there, a really brutal hit. Later, as they're being chased by the cops, the episode has its best musical moment. Still Pretending by First Signal fits perfectly with this really nice scene of Chris and Hardcore thinking there's no way out of the situation, embracing each other. Chris's face of shock and content happiness. It is great, except, well, the season in general has a lot of focus on these two's relationship, which I expected to like. I expected it to work a lot better than it does, but like I said in the last episode, I just don't think these two work together. Honestly, I do not buy their chemistry, so the season focusing on it so much honestly might be a bit of a negative. We'll see how it ends, but honestly, I kind of hope it doesn't end with a happy ending of them getting together. I hope I'm vindicated that they just don't work together. I just don't feel the chemistry, which is maybe the most important thing. The vigilantes definitely don't get as much focus compared to the last episode, but their talk near the beginning is funny and informative, with the special effects of the two vigilantes near each other continuing to be really impressive. Later, the two vigilantes teaming up together was a delight to watch. They're basically the exact same, meaning there's just two vigilantes, double the best character on the show. Their interactions being really funny, their interactions with Judo Master and Adebayo being funny, and I guess having two vigilantes suit up kind of makes up for the fact that we didn't see Vigilante suit up until episode 6. Which also gets me thinking about Peacemaker. He wore one of the Peacemaker helmets in like 2 or 3 scenes this season so far, which is ridiculous. Now get ready, because I'm about to be the most critical I've been this entire season. I do think the episode gets way better by the end, but man, the scene of Leota running away from the Nazi neighborhood. 1, it's unbelievable that nobody's catching up to her. There are men who are in better shape there. They should easily catch up. 2, it's unbelievable that nobody's whipping out a weapon of any kind. They're literally just running after her. And 3, I cannot comprehend for the life of me, why would Leota jump into a pool in order to swim away as if she'll get away faster? Even even stupider is that the horde chasing her also jumps into the pool. Why? Just run around the pool. Why was she there in the first place? I'll tell you why, so that Judo Master can shock and kill them all at once. As if there was this idea that it'd be really cool to see all these racists being shocked in a pool, but there wasn't really a good way to get them in there, so they were forced in. It's a really stupid moment, and I'm having a hard time getting past it. It's probably James Gunn's worst writing. Leota and Judo Master's scenes later on are also a bit of a mix between fine and great. It was nice to see them interact and bond. This episode made me want Judo Master to join the 11th Street Kids, but also, I mean, Leota saying the Nazi world isn't that different from our world is a bit much. I mean, it's a bit of an eye roll moment if I'm being honest. The scene between Augie and Keith is great. The episode generally did a really good job of convincing me of this version of Augie being nicer. Like, initially, it seemed like he was just a nice version of a character, then there was the Nazi reveal, but this episode, I think, intentionally made it so that, no, he's not a Nazi, he's actually, you know, a good person. Robert Patrick does a really good job in this episode in general. They go save Chris and Harcourt in a very unexpected way, killing all the cops and saving them. Not how I thought this would go down. I'd like to mention, since I haven't mentioned it until now, and this is probably the best looks at them, I really like the blue dragon suit. It just looks as good as the white dragon suit, a great design with high production quality. On the other hand, I think the Captain Triumph suit is not very good. It's a bit all over the place, somehow both over-designed and boring, and it looks a little bit awkward on David Denman. Unfortunate considering his large role in the story and maybe being the main villain of the next episode. But like I said, the episode and the season in general really got me to like the Earth X Augie, maybe the best Earth X character, as he contrasts wonderfully with his Earth 1 counterparts, being just as kind as he was in the first episode, with the Nazi reveal not really changing that, and being very understanding. I love how this character went straight past the blind anger that you would expect from a TV character and what Keith is going through, instantly believing how his troublesome son might have been the one to instigate the fight and get himself killed. He's also not a Nazi, which was a bit surprising, but honestly I'm not entirely shocked. He's a Nazi in the non-Nazi world, so it makes sense that he's not a Nazi in the Nazi world. The cops then knock on the door and holy shit, now this is an unexpected cameo. Earth X Fitzgibbon with Lachlan Monroe returning from season 1, a really cool and unexpected moment, and a generally good scene. All the Earth X stories come together as Blue Dragon shows his virtue and gives a great speech about fighting the injustices he can, but as he walks in front of the window, something soon happening is telegraphed, but I'll admit it wasn't until Vigilante actually jumped through the window that I knew what was coming. The kill is brutal, and after everything we just learned, a bit tragic. The stakes escalate and things get kinda crazy. The music is intense, you kinda feel the loss on Chris's face as he found out how good his alternate father actually is, and he's killed. Keith's reaction is great, as the season up until this point, and this episode in particular, built up a real and true vendetta for him against Peacemaker, making him pummeling Peacemaker a little bit later feel very, very personal. The ensuing fight between Captain Triumph and the 11th Street Kids is great. Triumph brutally beating Peacemaker is, well, brutal and like I said, personal, but the 11th Street Kids come together and kind of easily dispatch him. It was cool to see them all teaming up with each other, what they could do as a group, with Judo Master there as well. This leads into Chris giving out a visceral scream as the episode reminds you how he's seeing his brother, the one he killed, being killed again. It's tragic and powerful. His brother, Rick Flag, his father, his alternate universe self, his alternate universe father, and now seemingly his alternate universe brother, and while they don't focus on it, twice now he's killed a group of people that he thought was the bad guys, turns out they weren't. It's heartbreaking how death follows him and his family and the people around him. The acting and writing here as Chris realizes the death that follows him around, it's absolutely incredible. The group leaving Earth 2 is another great musical moment. I don't love how they handled the hardcore moment because I felt like the show contrived a way for Keith to survive when realistically she should have shot him like minutes before she ended up not being able to. We'll see what they do with Keith. This episode showed how he's not a threat to the team, but he might rally an army, team up with Argus, or I think what would fit the best is him being a one-on-one threat for Peacemaker and Peacemaker having to kill him, like how he killed his father in season 1. Whatever it may be, this episode certainly sets up Keith's vendetta against the 11th Street Kids and does it very well. Backing up, the episode did have some scenes on Earth 1, specifically of Argus working with Sidney Happerson to find the QUC. Like Lex's appearance in the last episode or the Justice Gang in episode 1, this feels like flawless universe interconnectivity as the connection fits the plot, brings back the actor and the set, and generally feels natural. The ending then bridges the two Earths as the 11 stray kids are met by Argus. The scene is great as Peacemaker gives himself up and Judo Master backs them. Again, like I previously mentioned, it'd be nice for Judo Master to join the kids. This ending is great, but wow, there is so much left to wrap up, and with just one episode left, even if it is a long one, I'm not sure if it'll be a satisfying ending. This reminds me of the feeling I had after the penultimate episode of the last TV show that Gunn wrote, Creature Commandos, and unfortunately that finale was not a fully satisfying one. The finale of Peacemaker Season 1 definitely was, so maybe this episode is going to be a lot longer at 57 minutes, basically twice the length of this episode, so maybe it will work, we'll see. I've seen people online say that this episode was better than the previous, but I really cannot get behind it. I don't think I liked it as much as a lot of people. It's a lot too short. There's one scene I found to be so ridiculously stupid that it took me out of the episode. Some of the moments felt a bit contrived and not very well thought out, and there's just so much weight placed on the finale that again, I'm not sure it'll live up to it. We'll see. Still, the episode has all the greatest elements of Peacemaker. Hilarious and entertaining, great and brutal action, great universe interconnectivity, surprising moments, fantastic acting, and a pretty effective emotional core. The episode would be fantastic if it wasn't for what's holding it back. So unfortunately, it is going to be an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's as good as the previous two episodes, but I do think the finale, if it pulls off a satisfying ending, should be the best episode of the season. I see no reason why it wouldn't be.